Alright, let's talk about the big question collectors keep whispering like it's a forbidden devil fruit. Is One Piece TCG the best card product to buy in 2026? And I'm saying buy from a collector and investor lens only. Sealed, singles, promos, graded. Just money, demand, and risk. First, we need to define what best means, because people use that word like it's magic. For an investor, best usually means a mix of three things: strong demand, strong liquidity, and a supply situation that doesn't wreck you. If I can buy it now and sell it later without having to undercut everyone, and there's a strong reason it'll stay wanted long term, that's best. Now here's the strongest argument in One Piece's favor. The market is already treating it like a top-tier TCG. TCG Players Marketplace ranked One Piece card game as the third best-selling product line by total dollar value, sitting right behind Magic and Pokemon. And it wasn't just holding position, it moved up compared to the previous quarter. Then you look at what the company behind it is saying. In Bandai Namco's integrated report, Bandai says it ranks third globally in the trading card game market share as of March 2025, and that this growth was driven by the One Piece card game. Corporate reports don't say things like that unless they want investors and partners to understand where the engine is. So demand is real, the brand is real, the money is real. But the reason 2026 is such a spicy year for One Piece investing is also the reason you need to be careful. Bandai is changing the structure of the game's official card pool starting April 1st, 2026 with the block number system. In their own wording, standard events will use roughly 3 years worth of the latest cards. They even give an example. For April 2026 to March 2027, blocks 2 through 5 are allowed, and block 1 is not. That is basically rotation behavior, even if fans argue about what to call it. Why does that matter to collectors and investors? Because player-driven demand is a huge part of what props up a lot of modern singles, and sometimes even sealed. When legality narrows, some older cards lose that constant, "I need this for my deck" pressure. Collector demand can still keep iconic cards valuable, but the floor under random staples gets shakier. At the same time, Bandai is clearly trying to keep older, desirable art and rare treatments relevant in other ways. They talk about how certain high-rarity, super parallel rare cards and cards with the same card number generally remain legal regardless of reprints, and they also outline cases where older cards get updated block treatment. So there's nuance here. Some stuff will stay relevant, some stuff won't, and you can't treat all sets the same anymore. Now let's talk about the collector juice factor, because this is where One Piece can be a monster in 2026. Bandai's organized play structure is still big, and it generates trophies for collectors. The official development team letter specifically mentions serialized prize cards planned as high-end rewards, like a serialized Monkey D. Luffy planned as a top 8 prize across the year for regionals. Serialized cards are basically gasoline for the collector market, because they create a ceiling item that makes everything around it feel more premium. They're also moving events offline. The same development team letter says official tournaments will no longer be held online and will be held offline, and treasure cups are shifting to offline side events at regional tournaments and similar. For investors, that's not automatically good or bad, but it does mean the chase economy concentrates around physical events and physical prizing. That tends to keep trophy cards culturally important. Steady releases also keep attention and liquidity flowing through the ecosystem, which is helpful if you're investing in a market that needs active buyers. Now let me give you the blunt part. One Piece is high momentum, but it's not a set-it-and-forget-it investment like people fantasize. The biggest risk is supply and reprints. Bandai has already shown they'll reprint and restructure how reprints fit into legality. They've discussed that reprinted cards for Standard will reflect updated block numbers in the card design. And they also addressed how a premium booster set with older block numbering would be treated under the new Standard rules. That's basically Bandai telling you, politely, yes, we can bring things back. So if your strategy is, I'm buying modern boxes and assuming scarcity will do the work, that's not a strategy, that's a prayer. So is One Piece the best product to buy in 2026? Here's my real answer. One Piece is one of the best places to invest in 2026 if you treat it like a high beta market and you pick your targets properly. It has demand, it has cultural power, and it has premium collectibles being injected into the system. But if you're asking best, as in safest, I wouldn't call it the safest. The structure changes in April 2026, and Bandai's ability to reprint and reframe products means the wrong buys can absolutely underperform. If I'm investing as a collector in 2026, my bias is this. I want things with identity that survives rotation, iconic characters, iconic moments, early era significance, high-end rarity treatments, trophy, and serialized cards, promos that are hard to replicate, stuff that collectors want even if the meta moves on. What I'm not doing is blindly stacking random modern boxes just because the last 2 years made people feel like geniuses. So the verdict is, One Piece is a top-tier buy in 2026, but only if you're selective. If you're disciplined, it can be one of the best. If you're lazy about it, it can punish you fast. Let me know your views on One Piece in the comments section, and as always, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe.